teach you to feel, to understand. Narcissist, my love. Let it go.
Hello and welcome to France 24's weekly music show. Now it's going to be glam, it's going to be disco and even a little bitty gritty. My guest's career has spanned some 26 years. She first emerged as one half of Sheffield electro-pop duo Moloko, releasing hits such as Sing It Back and The Time Is Now. She's also released 5 solo albums, is known for her avant-garde fashion sense and for being an incredible showwoman. Now she normally spends her time between Ireland, England and Ibiza. Róisín Murphy, welcome to the show. Now, actually, where did you spend most of lockdown?
In London.
In London. Oh, and how was that?
Well, it was interesting. You know, we tried to escape to Ibiza a few days before the real lockdown came. And I got out of the taxi at the airport and I coughed. And that was it. They wouldn't let us travel. So we were stuck in London, but in a way it was good because I have a lot of setup here. I have a little studio set up in the house and I made little performances here. I worked with my lighting guy. I did listening parties. I wrote loads of music, loads of tracks. So I got most of the way through my next album.
You've had a super productive time. So yeah, and your new album's called Róisín Machine, which is full of super danceable alternative pop tunes. So yeah, that's the promo side of things. It's kind of weird because you don't have the tour afterwards. But tell us a bit more about the title of the album, Róisín Machine.
Well, it's helping people say my name a little bit better. Róisín Machine. It kind of rhymes, kind of. And I do everything. I do all the sort of visual side of what is around the music. I direct all the videos. I do the styling. I do the creative direction. And I've been very busy with everything since Hairless Toys, really, which is about a halfway mark in my career, really. It's kind of like the grown-up Róisín took over.
As you said, Róisín, you were putting on live shows from your home. What was it like for you as an artist performing without a physical audience?
Well, I tried to sort of reach in and you know, especially with one camera, you sort of feel like you just kind of peer in and reach into the simulation and try and touch people, you know. I guess that's what the need was there, really. And you get something completely different with the with a close-up. It's a sort of cinematic thing in a way. So it's a kind of halfway house between a film actress and a rock star's kind of performance. It's a live vocal. It's very live, and it's intense. And it was enjoyable. And I took that idea this summer and expanded it and did a couple in Ibiza. So I took it out of this living room that I'm actually in now, and into the elements and into nature, further into the simulation in a way.
Well, how about we check out one of your tracks where you tell us that you want something more?
Crown upon my head, young lovers in my bed, but I want something more. A private restaurant serving every dish I want, but I want something more. Maybe this could be the last time I feel the sting. It's what it's like to want everyone and everything.
A glimpse there of Róisín Murphy's new album, Róisín Machine. Now, Róisín, on this new record, you say that your story is still untold, but you will make your own happy ending. Can you tell us a bit what kind of happy ending you're looking for? No dirty jokes, of course.
No, there's no such thing as a happy ending. Especially when you have children, you know, you're going to absolutely be on your deathbed worried about your children. So there is no ending. I think really what I was talking about was in this record is there's a streak of individualism, and there's a streak of going out and making yourself, the bit that you weren't lumped with, the part that, you know, that you weren't born with, the part that you can make. And that's very connected to me to nightlife and to night culture. It's when I went into that as a sort of teenager and in my 20s, that's really where I took control of my identity. And there's a real strong strain of that through the record. I think my story is still untold personally. Musically, I always feel that every time I come to make a record, I feel like I'm going to make the best record I've ever made. And that's what drives me.
You can imagine it's really hard for young people nowadays who don't get to go clubbing with the global pandemic. But yes, we'll have to hope things progress for them. But can you talk us also through the artwork and the look that you have to accompany this new record? Because you've been described in the past as pop's exiled princess of glam, and this description still seems to, you know, pretty much fit this era and career.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely drawn on glam rock in the imagery on this. I think it all comes from the glam rock thing. And I got very interested in reading about, obviously this record was made with a Sheffield contemporary of mine, somebody I've known since I was a kid. But his connections go back through to Cabaret Voltaire and Human League and things like that. And I got very interested in reading about those Human League guys and them watching, you know, back in the 70s, seeing Roxy Music on Top of the Pops, and then having to leave their house dressed in their sister's blouse and some makeup and tight trousers, you know, and maybe high boots, and go down to Sheffield city centre to perhaps the one or two pubs that were for weirdos, you know. And these guys had to kind of run the gamut through this working class town. And it takes a lot of balls, you know, and it fascinates me, all that. And I got really into looking at British wrestling, actually, from the 70s, and reading about the connections between glam rock and the wrestling scene and sort of working class towns and spandex and stars and makeup, and I love it. It fascinates me. And of course, this music is coming from a bit of a clash of cultures. And going back to what you said about young people, and this record was started 10 years ago, but it does resonate now. I think because 10 years ago we were beginning to say, what have we lost? We were in the scene, if you like, in the dance music scene. We were beginning to say, what is it that we had? Where did we come from? And what are we losing? And that was already begun 10 years ago. And many people since then you've had your VHS footage of raves being put into galleries here in London, into the Tate Gallery. There's a revisionist movement within the scene itself to try and recapture something. And I think now is a good time to sit back and all of us to be saying, what did we lose? How can we build it from something small again and something connected again?
Róisín, we're going to be lost. Róisín, I'm afraid we're lost for time, which is such a frustrating moment. So we have to move on.
Sorry.
So we have to move on to some music news. Do stay with us, though. This is we're staying in the UK, and we're moving to the fantastic Dizzee Rascal, who is just releasing his 7th studio album, E3AF, and it's a nod to Dizzee's native East London. Now, it's his first album in a decade to have been fully recorded and produced in the UK, and is full of references to UK garage. Let's check out one of the tracks.
Be a tourist, you know what the score is. Act like you know I'm the rawest, flawless. Act like you know that they hate, but they can't ignore. They ain't got nothing for us. 5'10" and I'm hardly enormous. Leave it where sore, leave it where jawless. Act like you know I gotta keep on going. I ain't ready for the chorus. Act like you know when the Rona hit, I didn't take a hit, but I played the shit and I hit the skip, cause it ain't legit. You make me sick. Better work on your bars, you lazy prick. Keep working my nerves, you'll pay for it. I don't play to quit. Better act like you know and just take the tip, or just take a pic. Yeah, act like you know. slow? If so, better move like dice and act like you roll.
Staying in the world of hip-hop, but this time moving back to this side of the channel, Belgium-Congolese rapper Damso, who has just spent a few days in Kinshasa as his latest album, Calf, dominates the French charts. Well, he's spoken out against misogyny in French rap. This comes after French rapper Moala Squale faces accusations of violence and sexual assault, while Belgium's Romeo Elvis has been accused by a fan of inappropriately touching her. That's something that Romeo Elvis confessed to in a public apology. And as a result, Damso has decided not to collaborate with him as this behaviour goes against his moral values. Now that's it for this week's music show. Róisín Murphy, it's been an utter pleasure having you on the show, and so sad that it's so short, but we wish you all the best and hope to see you in France at some point with this new record. Remember, Róisín Machine is available, and we're going to ring out the show in just a few minutes with some noisy punk. Remember, France 24 News is coming up in just a few seconds, and you can get in touch with us via social media. Encore is on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and of course, do check out the Culture Show on France24.com. And as I was saying, Canadians' noisy trio Metz are back with an album. It's their fourth one. It's entitled Atlas Vending. Here's a taster with a video of a dystopian post-apocalyptic future world featuring creepy faceless soldiers.